inspirational.
Is this episode 56.5? Today. Hey, it's probably because I got my beanie on. Today on episode 56 of the Ultimate Pill podcast.
You like it?
Anthony Johnson and Chris Perez come together to journey into the great unknown. A place so far, far, far away that so few eyes have seen. But the interesting thing of it is that all minds can travel to this place of great, heroic adventure into what is their true and honest self-expression, their true contention with life. Welcome to episode 56, y'all.
There we go.
Cool. I guess we're using this beat for it. Shout out to Artlist.io, man.
Yeah. I'll just try to match that in post. It's okay. I didn't get to do my clap. It's all right. We'll just roll with it.
Now let's
That was
go.
good.
Roll back if you have to.
No, I'll figure it out.
You're the editor, man.
I'll figure it out.
All right.
That was good.
Freestyle session. That was fun. Today on episode 56
That was good.
of
We're
the
here now.
Ultimate Pill.
There's no going back now. We're
No,
here.
you taught me that, dude. I can't hear good with this, man.
That there's no going back.
There's no going back, dude.
No, we're back.
Remember when I used to post our stuff and then have doubt and
Yeah.
low self-confidence, and I would take it off, and you're like, dude, when you put something out, let it go.
Yeah. Send it.
Send it.
Let it go.
Send it. Literally like my life philosophy. Send it.
Yeah, man. We're here.
We're
56.
here. 56,
We're back
man.
and we're better.
What's some cool, I think, to share right on the forefront of like those who have actually followed us since the beginning. In the last month, with Anthony and I had a conversation, and we said, you know what, man? I actually think this show would get better if we trimmed it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Got down to the nuts and bolts, right? Like trim the fat. You know, take that excess stuff away that was turning it into maybe more of a, hey, we got to do it, rather than, hey, I get to do it.
Yeah.
And now we've trimmed it down to 2 full form episodes a month, every other Thursday, and then 2 Mindset Mondays.
Yep.
Every month, every other Monday. And that's just to keep us very inspired. And what I really like about it too, man, is it gives us like a nice window to just freaking explore.
Yeah.
And let things just naturally come in. And there's with 2 weeks of experience instead of like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
I feel like you have more to come to the show, because that's all we're doing. We're just sharing our own experience.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
all. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, check. I mean, that's just, we're going to, and I promise you, it's not a degress. Don't think about it like that. Like, it's a progress for us.
For sure.
Because now we're shooting promotional videos for companies and trying all sorts of different creative endeavors. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is it gives us room to create in other ways and make it not just about the show and having to push that out. So yeah, no doubt. Gives us some chance to create
for sure.
in other avenues, other mediums.
For sure. So yeah, shout out to us, man, taking that, you know, when it's a pivot, right?
Yeah.
Like agile project management type stuff. If there's people out there who've been in that field of work, it's the agile perspective, man. Like, hey, just because you're adjusting, you're taking stuff back, that may mean that you're getting more to the creative source and the actual value that comes from it.
Well, I think it's a valuable thing to do with whatever you're doing. It could be working out, you know, but if you're motivated and you're going 5 days a week and that's taking a toll on you, I've always thought that, like, you know, scaling back to something that's something that you can maintain, something that's maintainable over time, because that's how real true change happens, is that long over time. I mean, they've done I follow a guy, a doctor, oh God, Lane something, but he's a big fitness and nutrition guy, and his whole thing with diets, he's like, if you look at the studies of diets, they all work if they're sustainable. It's when they start getting scaled to sustainability that they start to stand out of which one's better. And what that really means is that it's whatever diet that you can do for the longest.
For sure.
And that doesn't mean a 5 to 6 month fad, you know, or hobby. it's like 2 years. So
for sure,
that's kind of what we did is we scaled it back to be maintainable longer.
Absolutely.
Because we're in it for the long haul.
I agree with that. And then as you were talking there, I also picked up on the idea that we just found out what worked for us.
Right.
And that's really important if we're talking about fitness. Like you said earlier, I've even read some stuff that talks about how fitness is all mental.
Yeah.
Like when you're consistently going to the gym, you become a fit person because you think like one, you feel like one, you believe like one, and because of that, you behave like one.
Yeah.
So the mind-body connection, I truly think is a really valid thing that can be helpful for anyone really just understanding the influence that the mind has on the overall health of the body. And I could even back that with a little research. There was a study done with housemaids, and what they asked them beforehand was, do you think your work is exercise? And obviously the majority of them no.
Yeah.
But then they put them through a mental training program to where they had them begin to think that making a bed was like a rower.
Yeah.
And they equated it and contextualized working out with their daily employment. And did you know that over a period that they measured them, blood pressure lowered, body mass index lowered, other cholesterol, different variations of the body when it comes to the blood tests and so forth, came back more positive just by thinking and believing that what they were doing was fitness.
Yep.
So goes back to find what works for you. Like I don't lift heavy, you lift heavy. Heavy doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm in there doing the work, being active, showcasing the discipline, I think that is the biggest payoff when it comes to health. Again, I've always said, man, health isn't about how you look, it's how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me throw this at you, bro.
What you got?
You accidentally called me the other day on the treadmill.
What was that all? Yeah, you were getting it. I was wondering, dog. I was like, is he doing the dirty or is he on the treadmill?
Yeah, I was on the treadmill, man. So
you were getting it.
Let me throw this at you because I've been trying to be more consistent with my workouts. So now that I'm out of coaching, it's weird. I was like, I didn't realize how active I was as a coach in the weight room all day, and now I'm not. But anyway, and I'm trying to run more because I cardiovascular health is huge, and not anything crazy. Like I'll even alternate between walking and jogging just to because I get so bored on the treadmill. I honestly hate running. I do because I get bored.
Yeah.
So, but check this out. The other day I was jogging and I'm listening to Travis Scott, obviously, but like because I like to listen to music that mentally puts me in that place where it's like you're at the top of your game.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel when I listen to him. And so
that's cool.
I was at the top of my game mentally, imagining my dreams of becoming a filmmaker happening. I'm like imagining it all play out. And it made me run harder and more. Like it was like, I'm trying to think of how to explain this, but it was like almost like the act of running on that treadmill, which is something I hate, was a way to physically express the amount of enthusiasm and inspiration I have where I'm at mentally. Does that make sense? So like,
absolutely, dude.
I don't know. It was a cool moment. It's like that runner's high moment kind of, but it wasn't a runner's high. It was like a dreamer's high.
Yeah.
But I was channeling it into the treadmill. I don't know.
You were running for excellence.
Yeah.
And shall we travel back in time a little bit to what created the Ultimate Pill podcast when it came to our deeper understanding of levels of consciousness and their correlation with emotional states? So if you hop on that treadmill, right, and you just told me that you hate running, right? Okay. What type of emotional state you think you in?
Negative, sure.
Well, give me one.
When I have to get on?
I mean, I'll get there. So I'll start from the bottom. Shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, anger, desire, pride before you get to courage. Which one of those you think you were hanging out in if you go into this activity with the belief that you hate running? Where you at?
Maybe apathy for me.
Okay.
In the sense of like, I don't want to do this.
Ooh, that's low too, man.
Yeah.
Not real powerful down there.
I don't want to do this, but I know I have to.
You're forcing it.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's take a different context. Same experience. but you just described it as a very powerful moment to where you were almost grateful that you had dreams to pour from within you as you ran, because all you're doing is you're opening yourself up, man, when you're running. That's what I see it as. Like, you're opening yourself up. It's you against you, man. And if you are not focusing on your thoughts or your feelings when you're on a run, you going down.
Yeah.
You going down.
Yeah.
So you were in it in a very, I almost want to say, like a place of gratitude.
Well, okay, so sorry to cut, but that you're talking about this and making me think about it, putting me back in the headspace. It was gratitude because I'll tell you this is part of it. This is wrapped up in it. In my dream to become a filmmaker, I need to be making films, and I can't always be doing that.
Yeah.
And so I'm now, it's because I can get that feeling by meditating on where I want to go and how I'm going to get there. It's almost like the act of running on the treadmill is a form of expression
For sure.
that I can't go get right now through my camera.
For sure.
So let me bust it out on this treadmill.
It's dynamic
It's the
action.
same- yeah.
Dynamic action,
Yeah,
dog.
it's the same energy. It's just channeled in a different way.
Self-expression in its certain form.
Yeah.
It has its forms.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, bro, the state of gratitude is very powerful.
Yeah.
The human body is more powerful in a state of gratitude
Felt
than
like it.
apathy.
Yeah. Felt like
Did it feel like it?
Yeah.
Well, y'all, there's a real world example, experiential right there of
There you
this.
go.
The spiritual idea that founded the Ultimate Pill podcast is the emotional state that we take into any context, which to me is an experience, will determine whether it is supportive or healthy to us and the people around us.
Yeah.
Bro, you went into it. You enjoyed your run. You told me this very motivational, inspirational story because all you did was reframe the same situation with a better belief.
Yeah.
I'm here to freaking tax myself and think about what I'm going to do with my life. And for that reason, the same challenging experience was healthy for you.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
cool.
Yeah.
Running for excellence. Maybe that's 56.
Run for excellence. Whoa, running for excellence.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's
It
interesting.
opens me up, dude.
Yeah.
I got it.
Oh, I know.
gotta get back to
You're a
run.
big runner.
I got not as much as I used to. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
I've actually gotten more into. I'm focusing on weightlifting. I think I'm just letting my legs and all that kind of heal up a little bit. But
Yeah.
I need to get back on.
Yeah. I've always admired that about you, being able to even run 5 miles. 'Cause I hate it, bro. I absolutely hate it. My feet are better now, but coaching, like, they destroyed me, man. Like,
Yeah.
So the idea of getting on a treadmill and bah, 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 bah.
But you even on those like long runs, man, like you have to mentally heal on the run. Like there's been several times where a hip would do something weird or a calf. I went through a phase where my calf, bro, would cramp up. A couple times I've only had to stop running twice that I really remember. Twice was for this calf thing. That was just, what the heck's going on, dude? It would cramp up on me real bad. Healed a meniscus tear, actually.
Nice.
That was back in like 2000, because I was during track I would do long distance. So back in like, and I would run. So every after school I was running with the kids, and we'd put in work. You know what I mean? And my meniscus, and everything torn. You know, meniscus. Oh crap! And I said, everyone's telling me that, bro. Like you could do surgery, but like it's try to.
Yeah.
So I promise you, I've maybe told 2 or 3 people this story, but Joe Carpenter's actually one of them, I think. But I would lay in bed, and I couldn't even look. Same knee, couldn't even extend it out like this in bed.
Yeah.
I would have to sleep like this or like this, but I would go to about right there, and I would imagine a ball of light around my knee, just healing it. Dude, I would very consistently do that every night for a very long time. Still putting the same, maybe toned it down a little bit, but still like, no, I'm going to heal this through just a natural progression of like my body. It'll figure itself out. And yeah, man, sure enough, my knee was, it was before COVID, but I remember it was, soccer season was right after track, and I was hurting. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I'd be out there at soccer practice and be like hobbling off the field. Coach Hammett was the athletic director, head football coach at the time, and his son was on my team. And he came one day, and was like, "You good, man?" I was like, "I'm getting through it, coach." Like, it was hurting. And dude, yeah, no surgery.
Yeah.
Just mind body connection, being very mindful of, symptom variability, which is I really use in counseling, paying attention when it hurts and when it doesn't, and like training myself to know that it doesn't always hurt.
Yeah.
Try to do that a little bit more. And yeah, I think we can use that for a lot of different things. I'm talking about a knee, but keeping ourselves healthy mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, physically, I really think we have more choice over that than we oftentimes give ourselves credit, man.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I'm just like the whole treadmill story, how we got here. Like, I think it's interesting to think about, maybe dive in to what you're saying about how a reframing of the context for a hard event, an expression of integrity, intensity. Mm-hmm. If you can recontextualize how that's framed, it's almost like with my example, it's like a copying and pasting. I was taking the motivation and the energy and the inspiration I had for chasing my film dream, and I copied it and pasted it onto inspiration and motivation to run this treadmill, which is also going to help me health-wise. Mm-hmm. And that's, I don't know, that might be something interesting, like a tool for people listening. Like, maybe you can't go out and right now work at whatever it is you're trying to achieve dream wise. Like me, I couldn't go. It's just not, it's not feasible right now to be making a film every day, but I can take that energy and that motivation and inspiration and copy and paste it onto stuff I need to get done today. And that's a recontextualization, right?
And I started thinking about the act as if principle as you were talking there.
Yeah.
Which is very proven. The way that I'm able to explain it is you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So you go to that place to where you've achieved your ideal, your goal, your dream. That to you is filmmaking. So
I do that all the time.
You probably are going to be very grateful the day that you were you're going to be filmmaking. So taking that same feeling into your day-to-day will eventually formulate the possibilities for you to then take advantage of what's in front of you, learn from it, and then continue building and creating. Like, I think that's what, when you're in the process of anything special, like, you got to understand, think about it like you are preparing for the person that can achieve that goal that you're hoping to one day achieve. Like, you can't sit back and manifest the secret way. Like, all I have to do is sit here and think. Like, no, you've got to get out there and work, man.
Yeah.
You got to get your hands dirty, dude. You got to be in it.
Yeah.
So, but as you're in it, man, you act as if you are that person that you hope to one day be. And guess what? You eventually become that.
Yeah.
Before you even know, too, all of a sudden you're like, whoa.
I am that. You are that. To that point, the guy I was telling you about that I just got off the phone with, I just got off the phone with a guy that's writing out in Hollywood. Made a friend of a friend of a friend that I was able to connect with him and pick his brain about.
Those are good, friend. That's collaboration.
Yeah. And pick his brain about just what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do in that world out there, because he's out there living it. And we talked about a lot of things, but one of the things he said, bro, he said when he first got out here, he played football at Michigan, and that's kind of how the connection. But he said when he first got out there, he was going around telling people, yeah, I want to be a director, I want to be a writer. And he said just on an off chance, he was at an interview for some job, and Chris Tucker was in the hallway. And so he started talking to Chris Tucker. And Chris goes, oh, what do you do, man? He's like, oh, I want to be a filmmaker or I want to be a director and a writer. And Chris told him, wanna be? Just go do it. Oh. And so the guy was telling me, he's like, the point is, like, you need to just go be doing it. Like, go do it. Like,
just be it.
Yeah, just be it. Like we said before on the show.
Many times.
So there's that side to what you're saying too. So it's like you have the act as if principle when you're not able to do it, because let's be realistic. Like, sometimes you have other responsibilities, you have a day job, whatever you've got to attend to, and that's great time to practice. At least for me, that's where I start to practice and imagine and meditate and visualize what it is going to be like. Put on that song. For me, that's Impossible by Travis Scott. Like, put on whatever, or you're driving in the car. That's good times to visualize too and act as if. But then in those moments where you do have an opportunity and an open window to act, you need to go do it. Stop saying I want to be, and go do it.
Blank canvas. Get out there and start painting on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
for sure. But even I'm talking about, like, legit, man. Even in the day to day, like. fall in love with learning from what's around you.
Yeah,
Because this is what you're given.
for sure.
So like fall in love with learning from that and finding a way to take that and use it to develop your craft. Like for me, where I'm at, if I want to share how to really do this act as if principle that we're talking about, right? This visualization, this imagining yourself and imagining the wish fulfilled in the state of here and now is my big aspiration is to one day be supporting elite athletes in mental performance counseling or professional counseling. Right now, I'm working as a school counselor. So the way I've contextualized this is I'm taking these big ideas that I think can really help people because I test them on myself. I test them on the people who are willing to listen to what I have to say, share. And like when I share some of my ideas, bro, like I'm watching people, dude. I'm watching their eyes, bro. I'm watching their like mannerism, their body language. And you can tell when it's not, all right, this one's a little out there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just paying attention. I'm sharing these things. But most importantly, man, I'm taking these ideas and I'm tearing them down to an 11-year-old level because I'm dealing with 11 to 14 right now. Mm-hmm. Some 15, but not regularly. I'm tearing them down to the point where an 11-year-old can understand this idea of what you believe is exactly what you will find.
Right.
But how do I say that to an 11-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So I find a way, and I'm using this experience, my context right now, to hone my craft because now I think, dude, if I can explain this to an 11-year-old, and sometimes when I share with them these ideas that we literally talk about on the show, but tailored down and leveled down to a way that they could conceptualize it and understand it, I also watch them. And then I'll say, hey, did that make sense what I just said? I will be very upfront and open. And most of the time it's a yes. Sometimes it's a little bit. But the ones that are like, yeah, a little bit, I'm like, okay, go back to the drawing board.
Right.
So wherever you are, find that thing that interests you. Find that contribution that you want to give to humanity, right? What would you want to be happening if you weren't here? And what are you doing right now to make that happen? Mm-hmm. Remember how we talked about a couple episodes back? Like find that one thing and then just go all in on it.
Yeah.
Go all in.
Yep.
Because by focusing on honing your craft in a specific field that you're going into will make you a better person, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're being very creative, which is extremely healthy. You're passionate. You're living with vitality. Like you're a very energized person. Dude, it's going to influence in a positive way everything.
Yep.
So find that thing and learn wherever you are and go.
Yeah, that's good.
Go.
So you're doing that. You also, what's really cool about our show for both of us, for you specifically, I think I was trying to say this to you last time we recorded. Mm-hmm. You've gotten basically 56 times. Well, that's like 56 hours plus the Mindset Mondays. Mm-hmm. You've done like a huge handful of practice.
Yeah.
Of therapy already.
For sure.
Like one-on-one therapy.
For sure.
So even when you're doing this, which is something that's like a passion project, you're honing your skill. It's the same for me. I can't
for sure.
You can't even count how many hours of audio recording, which is that's what sets you apart as far as being an amateur professional in filmmaking is your audio. Like that's all we've ever done. Every time we sit down to record, I'm getting reps at audio.
Facts.
I'm getting reps at setting up the camera.
Facts.
And now, like what you're saying to that point, like I'm walking into almost every room at my day-to-day life, just all the time. And I'm saying, okay, how would I light this room if we shot a scene in
there? You go.
Like
that's exactly what I'm referring to.
Yeah. I'm getting reps because I've been really heavy on lighting lately. Like that, that's just something that I think really sets a film apart professionally.
I agree. I think
it's one of the hard, dude, it's so hard to figure out.
I bet.
Like it's not, it's just so hard. Like people think, oh, you just throw on a couple lights. To get what it looks like in Hollywood, there's just so much stuff. There's just little tricks and it takes time. And that's a lot of what takes the most time setting stuff up. And so, I've just been repping it, bro. Every room I walk into, if I find myself wondering or I'm a little bored, but okay, well, how would I light this? Like if we had to shoot a scene in here.
That's cool.
Where's the window? I always look for a window first. Is there natural light we can build off? All right, build off the window, build off the natural light.
That's cool.
Can we bounce something here? So
that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
For me,
everybody can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to provide you with what I think I'm getting a lot of benefit from doing our show together is I've chosen to accept that the spoken word is a craft that I want to develop in my life, because I believe that in counseling, if the spoken word or how you communicate and connect with others becomes of high priority,
for sure,
there's a high probability that you'll be successful at helping people.
Yeah.
Because the therapeutic relationship, in my opinion, is one of the most important variables when it comes to successful therapy and counseling.
Yeah.
So just by coming on here, controlling my ums, getting better at listening, which I'm working really hard on, getting better at getting feedback, like all these different things that have come from just one thing, but it branches out. And now even for these commercials that we're shooting for sponsorship, dude, you're helping the ultimate pill and you're going to use these same things to show businesses. You see how things,
Yep.
So all this wraps up into wherever you are, prepare to be the person that you hope to one day be today.
Yeah.
Be preparing for that.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And if that's in my craft, make sure you're honed in on every conversation. Even when you're just in passing, work on all these things that you read about and learn about.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be preachy and advicey. That's another thing I've been working on a lot.
Yeah.
But just be there with another human being. I think that's counseling, man.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's the best counseling. Like, to your point, everything you just laid out, all those examples, one thing that's really helped me, and we've said this a lot on the show, but I'm really just embodying it because I've been reaching out a lot to people to try to get leads to build up my videography business. But what I keep falling back to now is like, hey, can I provide that? Okay, I've figured out what my passion is. Mm-hmm. My passion is being behind a camera. Mm-hmm. And if I could, I know people monetize that. I know people can make, it'd be a dream if my job was to wake up and I worked with a camera and I film stuff.
For sure.
Okay, so let me start reaching out to people, start reaching out to businesses. And my sole pitch is I have a passion for film. I have a passion for making cinematic looking things, videos. Can I provide value to you? That's what I keep falling back on, bro. And like with the commercial you're talking about that we shot, like even though we had a working relationship and it benefits both of us, that's how I approach that.
Yeah.
I have a passion for film and creating cinematic. I want to create cinematic commercials to start off my business so I can make that my career. That's my dream. That's my passion. Can I provide value that way? And everybody I've reached out to since then. So I think that's just a good principle. It's like once you figure out, you answer the question that you had, which is if you weren't here, what would you want to be going on? Mm-hmm. Another way to pose that is how my dad posed it to me, which was, it's more like focused on you here and now. But like if you woke up and had the best day of your life and you went to sleep, what did you do all day?
Yeah.
It's a really simple question.
Yeah.
And you can think back, oh, okay, what did I do? For me, it was making a film with my brother.
Yeah.
So whatever that is, once you figure that out, then to me, the approach is how can I use that to provide value to others?
For sure. For sure. A principle that I started thinking about as you were talking there really comes from when you're going out for like job interviews. I remember when I was getting out of the military, they told me when you go into these job interviews, don't pose a posture that they're the solution for you. You got to pose the posture that you are the solution for them. So that is not an arrogant statement. It's going in there with a state of mind that is confident, courageous, and willing to express like who you really are.
Yeah.
Because the other way, you're operating from a different state.
Yeah.
You're maybe kind of from a place of fear, like I've got to be so locked in because they're going to solve my problems. What if you just, dude, we're talking about recontextualization tonight and reframing. You went in there with, I am the valuable asset that is going to bring value to them. Therefore, I am the solution for them.
Yeah.
I am here.
It's so funny.
I am here to solve their problems. They're not here to solve my problems, dog. I could do that on my own.
Right.
I got my own thing. Don't worry about me.
Right.
I got my issues, but I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Let me serve you.
Yeah. And I straight up say that in interviews. Like I want to provide, I can provide value. And I want to.
And this is how I will do that.
Yeah. So that's the next thing I was going to say is you got to be able to back that up. And it's funny. It's funny that you said that because that same guy I was talking to, getting advice from, we were talking about how in the film industry, a lot of it's like going around asking for money to make the films you want to make. Right. And the guy was like saying, he's like, he goes, you need to go out and do it, go out and be it, go out and have it. and have examples of what value you can bring, what makes you unique. Because then it's not a, hey, I need you to give me money for this film. It's a, hey, I can deliver. I have value. I have a unique perspective, and I can deliver. I've shown that in whatever that reel looks like.
This is how I'll make you money.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. So
For sure.
put that in the context of whatever dream or passion you're pursuing, but that's how you got to frame it.
For sure. My posture, certainly when I am providing service to others via counseling, is going to be that I'm here to be a solution for you.
Yeah.
And not like I'm going to tell you what to do, but like, you just need to know that by hanging around and allowing me the opportunity to serve you, things will get better.
Yeah.
And we'll get there together. And I'll probably get better along the way too. That's the best type of collaboration. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When everyone's getting better and everyone's getting value out of it, what a great experience. Like, that's, I think, a good relationship. Like, I think that's why you and I get along so well.
Yeah.
Because we're both so focused on like giving each other value.
Yeah.
Like, how can I help Anthony? And then you're thinking, how can I help Chris?
Yeah.
Dude, what a great way. That completes the circle in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny that you say that. Again, it's ironic. I was literally just listening to a video about how to start up a video production company, and the guy straight up said, "Stop saying you're providing video services. You're providing video solutions.
There you go.
You don't provide a service. You provide a solution, and then back it up. But you're not like, you can't, like, for me in my context in that, it's like anybody can say they're a camera operator. Like, everybody with an iPhone, you have just as good a camera as anybody else.
Yeah.
But it's a different thing to come to someone and say, I know how to tell a story. I know how to sell whatever you're trying to sell in a creative way that's going to engage someone scrolling through TikTok. Or,
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
For
those
sure.
are solutions to a problem that, and posing, how valuable is this? Posing or pitching solutions to problems that someone else doesn't even know they have.
Yeah.
You know, especially I'm thinking small businesses and stuff like.
Oh man, if you're going out for a job interview and you do something like that, what a courageous risk that, in my opinion, would pay off.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because if you show, like, I studied the recent trends, I saw the market reports, I saw what we've been doing, I noticed that we're doing this. I think that if I came in, this would be a really interesting idea to pursue.
Yep.
Lay that out.
Yep.
And if you're dealing with a humble, open-minded leader, I would assume they'd be like, wow, they did some work.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is impressive.
Yeah. At least did their research.
Yeah, they did their research.
I feel
This
like
is someone I want to work
I feel
with.
like you do that too, though, in your field. Like, do you not sometimes? I know most people that are going to sit across from you have been made conscientious to some extent of like, I have a problem. But I also think what's so cool about therapy is it like can reveal and unveil like further problems
Absolutely.
that you also have solutions to. And that's what's so important about listening and looking at it like a mystery almost.
Absolutely. Constantly learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I'm with someone, I am constantly trying to learn how they are experiencing things.
That's cool.
Constantly.
I think everybody should do that.
Yeah. Like,
No matter if you're.
no, yeah, for sure. I think just like we'll get to it. I do want to tell one story, but I think that's what's been a big shift for me lately is rather than fighting reality, I've just accepted to learn from it, constantly learning from it, constantly. But going back real quick, and then we'll talk about be like Dash, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
But there was a young lady who literally couldn't get out of the car and come to school. And the mother reached out and said, I don't know what else to do. At this point, it'd been like a week of like excused absence, and then 2 days of like, I can't get to school. So kind of like what you said, I knew the young lady, kind of knew her past history, knew that it wasn't any serious mental health concerns. There was just something there that she wasn't able to cope with. And rather than addressing the surface level issue of, man, you got to get out of school. Come on. Like, you're giving your parents stress. Like, we all know this. Dude, I researched stress enhancing mindset because I knew right away, this is stress.
Yeah.
This young lady's super stressed because there was no, in these types of situations, I asked like the parent, is she having problems with friends? That's like number one, especially at the place I'm at. Like
that age, yeah.
So is there any problem? No. Is she complaining of any bullying? No. Last year, she had a little uptick in stress and anxiety because there was some physical altercations happening more often than I like. And anyone at that point for me, it's like, I need to stop this, but I can't imagine like how it would be in the setting of a school, you know, like that's gotta be scary, fearful for sure. So I knew, but all these things came into play. I think this is just stress, man. So research that. Let me tell you, man, she came in one day. I saw a full blown breakdown in front of me. I was like, whoa, like this is for real, for real. Went outside, continued kind of pulling from this stresses enhancing mindset. And ultimately that day she it's exactly what happened. We went outside to the little park area that we have. And I was like, you want to write your name on the bricks? Yeah. Cool. So she's writing it. And then she goes to put the Sharpie back, bro, marks right on her face. I said, I'm never getting this kid to stay at school now. Mark, boom. Even, okay, this is what you dealt with right now, Chris. Like, what are you going to do now? Kept working. She ultimately went home, cleaned her face. Her dad left work, took her home, cleaned face, brought her back. She hasn't missed a day of school since.
Nice.
So one of those things to where I do think it's really important to get to the nuts and bolts of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you just, dude, like that iceberg is such a good metaphor of like the picture of the iceberg, man. Dude, what we see is so not the deal. That's so subjective, man.
Oh, for sure.
You've got to get into other people's subjectivity if you really want to connect with them.
Yeah.
Like you got to understand that this exact thing that they're experiencing is the exact same thing that you're experiencing, but differently.
Yeah.
Literally differently.
Yeah, no doubt.
Through their lens, man.
No doubt.
So, yeah, man.
I love that.
Get to the nuts and bolts, man.
Well, I love what you said about what you see there's just so much more beyond what you see. I
bro.
took that in a different context
bro.
because of where I've been at recently, man. Like with what I'm pursuing. I think I was telling you this when we filmed the Nalgene commercial. I've been really inspired by a director named Gareth Edwards. He did Rogue One, the Star Wars movie, and then he just recently did a movie called The Creator. He did it on the camera I have, and that was originally what got me onto him. But then I started learning his story, and to that point, he was saying. I watched him in an interview. He's like, people will say stuff like, "Oh man, you had your big break, you got lucky," and you look at it's so easy to look at stars, and we just see their rise to fame, seemingly happening overnight. And he's like, "Well, you got to understand," and it's cool to hear a story. He's like, "I was rejected for 10 years straight. Yeah. For 10 years straight, I was asking people, please let me direct, and every time they tell me no, and I was too scared." He's like, I was fearful to go make the movie that I wanted to make. Like I knew I needed to go do it, and I was too afraid to fail. And at some point it got to the point where my fear butted head up against my fear of regret of having never done it. And it was at that catalytic point that I was like, okay, I need to just go do this. Yeah. And he just goes and scrapes together whatever money he had and made his first feature. And it got into South by Southwest, and the rest is history. Wow. At age 35. Wow. But people see him at age 40, and they're like, "Oh, dude, you got so lucky, man. You got your." He's like, "You don't know what was going on from 25 to 35, where I was getting told no every day, like for 10 years straight." Yeah. And he still stuck with it. That's cool too. I didn't even think. I mean, so but that's to your point about the iceberg. Like we just see this little bit of success. For sure. And so that's where I took it. But
no, that's awesome,
completely
dude.
Different context.
I mean, I think I was working and preparing 8 years to meet you. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Like had I not been, even though I wasn't preparing for podcasting, but just to be able to be in a position to where I could do something like this. And I mean all that with, I had done some of the social media stuff. I had always loved connecting and talking, and all these different things that just followed and kept building and was patient, and sometimes would take breaks and be like, right now's not the time. You know, from like 21 to 23, 2021, 2023, took a break from all this. Wasn't writing. Yeah. Wasn't doing a lot of stuff. Was just focusing on school. Yeah. You know, school at work actually, and then the school that I was attending. But then, hey, one day, like Seneca said, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Yeah. That's ultimately what it is. So you got it. That's really the iceberg thing. Yeah. Is you're only seeing now that there's this show, dude. We've been preparing for this show for 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
There's more to it than we think.
Yeah.
And I think that even that idea with people in general, like there's more to them. They're seeing it this certain way because of something.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. And I want to say this to that point, a word of encouragement. Like when you face, because I've been here, you face those moments of discouragement where you're like, oh, I'm so much further away from achieving what I want.
Yeah.
But to the point we're making, and that Gareth Edwards is making, and that plenty of successful people have made, is that you just have to go and do it.
Yeah.
And like put your head down and put in the work, and then you're going to look up in 10 years and realize all that preparation had paid off.
For sure.
And someone external is going to look like you blew up overnight.
Yeah.
But you're going to know. You're going to know that you put in the work. And so that's really encouraged me in times because, again, it's such a fine line. Like having role models or people you look up to, it can be borderline discouraging, but also some of the most encouraging stuff.
Yeah.
Like even Gareth Edwards, that director, was like, I played this really bad game where I would get on IMDb and look up my favorite directors and when they made their first film, and it just made me want to quit. You know, like Spielberg made his first film at like 27.
Yeah.
You know, that was his first big blockbuster film, and George Lucas was like 28 or something like that. And it's like, God, that can be discouraging, but everybody's on their own path, and we have no idea what they were doing for the 10 years prior to that.
Yeah.
And it's like, wherever you're at right now, I don't know how long it'll be. It might be 8 years, it might be 10, it might be 20, it might be 5. It might be your next project's going to be the thing that blows up, whatever it is you're pursuing. But you just got to put your work down and go do it. Like we're saying, the run for excellence.
For sure.
And then you'll, I don't know, and just like put your head down and just go work and just go do it. Go be it.
Yeah.
Go act as if.
Yeah.
And
very Steven Pressfield, like War of Art.
Yeah.
You know, in that book, he essentially talks about just showing up and doing the work. But I think it's real profound how he talks about resistance in that, and how the resistance, and it's this thing, man. And the way Steven Pressfield describes it is so beautiful. But there's this resistance that's just pushing us away from what we need to be doing. But it's when we fight that resistance. And as I was listening to you talk, man, I started thinking about like, how crazy would it be to find encouragement in the discouragement?
yeah.
Like sometimes maybe the discouraging times are the most important, because you're going to show your true character at that point.
That's who you really are.
That's legit who you really are. In those times of when things aren't going well, who are you? And that's probably more true than when things are going well.
You know who said that?
Who?
The Joker.
Okay, how did he say it?
In The Dark Knight.
How do you? I've seen, but get me. Okay. We'll watch it in the movie room.
Yeah. We need to.
Dude, how have we not watched the movie in the movie room?
That's what
yet?
I was literally thinking while we were sitting
behind
I just want to experience it.
Yeah, behind all this, there's like a legit movie room.
Hey, when I make my movie this summer that you read the script for,
we've said that before.
Okay, we can watch that right here.
Yeah.
When they finally arrest the Joker in The Dark Knight, the Batman comes in to interrogate him, and the big reveal is his like big plan, the final plan.
Yeah.
And the Joker says, I used to quote this to my buddy Mustafa all the time. He's like, I'll show you. When the chips are down, these people, they'll eat themselves. They'll show you who they really are. And I just always think about that. When the chips are down, these people will eat themselves. But it's true. That's what you're saying. When the chips are down, bro, like when you I don't know, like you got one piece on the board in the chess game.
Yeah.
Like who are you really? Like who are you in those moments of discouragement?
Dang, eat themselves. I was already trying to pick that apart. What do you? Because first thing I started thinking about is, what do you got to eat then, man? So if eating yourself is bad, what should we be eating up in those times of discouragement to find some source of encouragement, to use this as a chance to showcase everything that we're working on? Because all this stuff we're talking about, dreams, goals, ideals, ambitions, it's all about who you're becoming.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So that's a profound way to think about it. It ain't about whether I hit or miss. It's all about who I'm becoming along the process. So, man, what should we be eating up, bro, in those moments of discouragement, man, to find some value in it?
It's a good question. I think
I don't know. I don't know what it is right now.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm like I'm anthropomorphizing or personalizing too much that voice. I've been in those moments. I mean, I think I've told you this, but like a really profound moment for me emotionally, and I'm always going to remember, is when I, like, dude, to make Borders, which is still getting in festivals now, which is really cool, but to make that was very, very tough. Had to scrape together $2,000. Super grateful for the people that donated that, and then I shot it down at the border. So I'm 9 hours away from home, scraping together. Like, hey, can I let me and like 6 actors stay at your house? I'm asking people's uncles. Like, and then I spent most of that money on food to feed these actors because I had a bunch of people come down from Austin to act in it. Anyway, long story short, I used every single penny. Literally, I only had enough money left on my credit card from that money we raised for my gas to get back home on the last day of filming. After I bought the whole cast pizza. So we wrapped up the last day. I bought them their last dinner, and I had just enough money to fill up my tank to get home.
Wow.
Penniless. But I made the film. And then, so then you're on like this high, and you're like, dude, I just made my first feature film. We filmed it in 10 days. It went really smooth. It was really fun. I think we got something. And then I get home, and not one computer can run, because I shot it in 4K on a Red. Can't find a computer to run it. I can't edit it. Like every computer I edited on, it crashes it. Oh. So for like 6 months, I'm like hopping around from computers. Can I borrow your computer? Can I borrow your computer? Can I try? And every single thing will not work.
Wow.
So finally, I built a computer. I built a gaming computer just to edit. So the computer I have now, I built and just for the sole purposes of editing it, so it could run it. And I finally did that. And then that's a whole. So I'm already 6 months behind the ball, and it's like a whole thing. And so anyway, long story short, I remember sitting in my car. This was very soon after getting done filming. I'm on this high. I'm like, dude, God took care of me. I had just the right amount of money. Production went smooth. And I'm sitting in my car, and I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I follow a bunch of filmmakers that are like young, and I see these dudes on these massive sets and like doing this awesome stuff. That's their job. That's their career. And I just had this like super defeating moment, super down moment. It's like, I'm not anywhere near that.
Wow.
And it like completely wiped away that high I was kind of on from achieving a dream. Because a feature's like lots of people have feature film ideas. Lots of people have feature film scripts that they've written if they take that challenge. Hardly anyone's made one. Yeah. And it completely like it minimized it, and it shouldn't have. But so in that moment though, it was like this. So it's almost like a cloak or a presence that falls on you, and I almost think
it's comparison what fell over you.
Yeah,
but you also went, if I may ask, so you mentioned you were in a place of gratitude, right?
Yeah, immediately after.
So as soon as you went into that state of comparison, you pummeled down into fear.
Yeah.
That you're not enough. Maybe even worse, guilt that who do I think I am?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's cloudy, bro.
For sure.
That's more cloudy and dark than gratitude. There's more light in gratitude, man.
Yeah.
There's more light there, bro.
So then maybe that's the answer is eating the comparison monster or whatever, or eat the bug.
Or just eat what you know that is the more lower side of self. Yeah. No, actually, yes, that's how we would say it. First, I started thinking if you want to eat the good side of it, the higher side, but then now you probably want to chew up that lower side, that lesser thing within you that tends to talk to you sometimes in a very negative and dysfunctional way. Like eat that up and then channel that energy to be more creative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's individuation. That's aligning, the self, the shadow, and anima animus, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think to your point, that becomes a lot easier to do just by knowing that gratitude is like kryptonite to that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at that time.
Yeah, gratitude
like
is kryptonite.
Knowing that now and having done this with you and met you and learned from you, like when those moments come around, I am able to automatically switch into a place of gratitude for what I have been able to do and what I am doing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm not where I want to be right now, but I have all the time and the freedom to be there eventually. Like I'm going to get there eventually. And that to me, that's a very grateful place to be. And gratitude is that kryptonite.
An excellent place to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If we're running for excellence tonight, like that's a great place to be in a state of gratitude.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that I get a 99.99% success rate on the current question when you cafeteria food. No one, you tend to hear less than of it, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, every time a kid jokes and like talks about the food of the day, I always tell him, hey man, but at least be grateful we have something to eat. And it's like a 99.999 as high as you can get. I think I've had one kid in 5 years say, nah, this is worse than having anything. But we just all get it, man. It's intrinsic. It's intact to the human being to be grateful for where they are, dig roots so deep. I was sitting outside before the show tonight and I was just watching the trees and I was like, I get it, bro. That's why nature's so cool, is because you're looking at something and right where it is, man, it's digging its roots as deep as it can go, becoming powerful, strong enough to withstand the storm, while at the same time, man, doing its job and being a darn tree.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, really, like, not even that real abstract idea, like, conceptualize that and contextualize it into your own life. Like, wherever you are, man, dig your roots deep as possible. Prepare for that moment to where when the sun shines, man, you can blossom.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring in something I know you gonna like. That's meanings, values, and beliefs. Meanings, values, beliefs.
That's everything, man.
To your meal
Meaning,
example.
value, belief.
To your.
I hope we got some people watching.
I think there's some.
Cool.
To your gratitude for the lunch meal example. When I would give my nutrition talk as a strength coach, and I'm telling these kids, these football players, or I talk to a lot of athletes, but it's like, hey, you are so most of y'all are dual sport, triple sport. Some of you athletes that are burning thousands of calories a day. You need to be consuming all of that back, if not more, if you're a mass gain athlete. And that means you need to be eating a lot. And so as much as you guys want to hate on the breakfast and the lunch provided by the school, it's free for most of y'all, and it's food and it's calories. So what I was going to throw at you, and to me it's aim, but also meanings, value, beliefs, you're able to have more of a stance of gratitude towards something like a school lunch when you understand your aim. That's how I do when I was in school, and when I learned that what I needed to do to get bigger to achieve what I wanted to achieve. When I put the why in the right place, it was like, yeah, this school lunch pizza ain't the best, but it's calories and I need it, and so I'm gonna be grateful for it. So I wonder how much in your head.
I like that model actually,
Yeah.
of how you said that, because I eventually immediately I go to belief. But yes, if a belief will be more powerful if you have the aim, the meaning that you're eventually going to use this belief for. That's always really good. You've got these values that you've set up, because that's the structure, right? It goes meaning, value, then belief. But I can say that I have read and really did believe, because it seemed extremely valid, that it's not necessarily what you're eating or how you're eating. It's you believing that what you're eating is sufficient to your current state of the body.
Yeah.
People put through a study where they were taught that belief, that regardless of what you were eating, for you was the pizza.
Yeah.
But the belief, man, that you went into it is, hey, this pizza's sufficient for the state of this body, because how we feel comes from the belief that the mind has about the state of the body. So if we're telling our body, believing, that's the communication. That's kind of like in my opinion, that's like the membrane, bro. That's like the threshold, the crossing point, right? The line between mind and body is existing within belief. Yeah. So this is very motivational, and me talking, and I use it now in my own diet. I have loosened my diet so much because I've gone into it thinking that whatever I'm eating, I'm just going to believe that it's sufficient for my current state. Yeah. Whatever that may be. Now, obviously I do have disciplines that I avoid certain things, but that's also a really powerful belief, is I believe that that's not sufficient for my body.
Right. No.
Therefore, you're telling like literally it's metabolic, like the enzyme that digests food starts with a G, can't remember some medical term, like fluctuates by the belief that we have about the food that we're eating or the food that we're not eating. If we believe that the food that's presented in front of us is unhealthy, and we have very powerful meaning and values that align with a healthy person because it's who we are, we act as if a healthy person would act, then literally our body says, no, let's not eat that. And it changes changes the metabolic of the body. The energy goes to different places.
I like it.
So I think that checks out, man. Yeah. If we're talking about health and we were talking about meaning, value, and belief, I think if you really are going into something that requires, I don't know, maybe we don't have the resources to eat the healthiest food, just believe that what you're ingesting is sufficient and just see what happens. And also that will like cut down overeating.
Right.
nah, that was sufficient. Like, I'm good.
Well, that's the point I wanted to make with that is like a big issue, especially with adults, is the overeating and stuff in moderation. And so if you're approaching it from a sufficiency model, you won't be approaching it off of a perceived appetite model. So like, I know for me, like when I overeat, it's because I think I'm still hungry, and it's like, oh, and that's really good. I like the pleasure of eating that.
Yeah.
But if
you go unconscious ultimately.
for sure. So if my model was, no, I need to eat for sufficiency and what's going to be sufficient for me, then I definitely would hold back.
Yeah.
And I want to put a footnote. I was talking about pizza for high school athletes on mass build. Okay. I just wanted to put a footnote there.
I mean, if you believe that pizza is sufficient one night because it just happens to be in your presence,
For sure.
get you one or two slices, enjoy the enjoy the experience.
Yes.
But as you're
Everything
eating that,
in moderation,
yes,
though.
as you're eating that, literally believe that this is nourishing and is sufficient for the sustenance of your body.
Yeah.
And that mind-body connection will certainly influence the way that is metabolized and used to your benefit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And same thing, when whatever you do working out, just believe it's good for you.
This is true.
Believe it.
Yeah.
Believe that.
Something happened on your phone. I don't know if you want to mess with it. We can get it after the show or not.
Let's see. Yeah, that was cool, man. Little rhapsody on. It's cool how we talked about belief like that. Powerful. That's running for excellence.
Yeah. God, yeah. I feel like we just climbed a mountain of ideas and inspiration and motivation. We started talking about reconceptualization of tough things.
Yeah.
And how you get through them.
And how that, if we're running for excellence, and then we started talking about how what running does for us.
Yeah.
Poor connection again, that darn phone. What running does for us, and it opens us up, man. And then we kind of trailed into when we're engaged in that challenging task, it's the emotional state that we're taking into it.
Yeah.
We can be I think a really powerful thing for all the athletes out there, man. And I know I've said this to a lot of them is if you could go into this game grateful that you have the opportunity to play it. I think one of my favorite things I used to say to athletes is I would talk to them before practice or something and tell them, do you know how many kids out there would love to be where you're standing? And you're miserable about it? They would do anything to be right where you are, but they got a physical disability, or their parents don't let them play, or they don't have the resources. Don't have a ride to practice, so I can't play a sport that I would give anything to play. I'd look at them and say, y'all should be grateful.
Yeah.
And silence, pin drop, because it hits, man. That's that you're talking to the spirit at that point.
Yeah.
That's soul to soul saying, yo, check out, be grateful for what you got.
Yeah.
And we talked about how that can shift an experience to take us maybe from a state of discouragement and instead finding encouragement in the struggle.
Yep. Yeah. I think
Encourage. Listen to the word I have courage to face this struggle, man.
Yeah. I think that's so antithetical to what everybody thinks they need to be doing. Like, I just know from a sports perspective, a lot of people, a lot of kids too, just naturally assume there's got to be this fuel source of anger and violence and aggression. And it's so antithetical to say, no, actually, you have more fuel. It's clean. It's like cleaner energy.
Yeah.
It's like clean, more sustainable energy
That's true.
to play off gratitude. I know, because I've played, like, I can pick up basketball. I'm not good at basketball. I love pick up basketball for the cardio. But there's times when people I don't know, they make me mad, piss me off, and I'll just be like, I see red.
Yeah.
And I get so much more exhausted and I'm like just completely useless after a fit of, rage.
Yeah, yeah.
Than if I had just played from this is so cool. I get to do cardio in such a fun way. That,
For sure.
Like playing a basketball game. So,
Dude,
I know, man. I know from experience.
Shifting that simple belief is I believe that I'm playing right now for cardio goes back to that research that we talked about earlier with housemaids that was also a part of this show, where all they did was help shift their mindsets through different beliefs, and their body literally became healthier doing the same activity that they used to dread.
Yeah. 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 And that's ultimately what I was trying to get at with the treadmill. I hate running the treadmill, but I'm becoming more grateful for it because there is times like where I'll get down on myself because it's like, man, what, you're not able to get behind the camera. You're not doing something to chase your dream. And the way that I've recontextualized that is I'm able to turn the treadmill into, it's just been reframed to an energy outburst of towards my dream. I hope that makes sense. Like what I'm saying.
Well, and it goes back to, we then trailed into, we have the ability to choose how we experience something. I think that's the most creative act in human history.
Yeah.
Is our ability to create an experience, which led us into understanding that one person could be doing the same thing, running in a state of, I hate this, I hate my life, I want to kick my dog, all sorts of negative, or, man, same struggle, right? We're on the same run. Or, man, I am so grateful that I could pursue excellence and really learn about myself right now, because it's, again, that then led into the main point that we just been riffing on for a little bit, is you learn more about yourself in the challenges.
Yeah.
That shift of mind is so powerful, dude.
Yeah.
This challenge is here to teach me something.
Yep.
Like that family that I had to deliver food to on Friday, not had to, wrong word to use. That family I got to deliver food to on Friday because they're going through some challenging stuff. I saw that person with those two young children facing that with so much courage and gratitude for what they still had, that it was awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
I stood in that motel room where they're staying, talking to that grandmother, and was floored. Because then I started thinking, would I be able to do what she's doing right now?
Yep.
And then it was even worse when I got in the car. I started to really think about, why her, not me? And these are challenging moments, but rather than wallowing in my sorrows, I learned, what is this feeling trying to teach me, man? Like something, I feel this way for a certain reason. We're supposed to feel in a state of a higher state of this experience is something positive for us. Like that's a normal state of a human being, I believe. So when we go down into those places, man, it's something telling us, yo, this needs to be fixed or this needs to be addressed. And I just needed to understand struggle more. And I'll make it quick. It was a story that someone then told me, because when these things bother me too, I share them with people, man, who I've developed good relationships and trust, and say, yo, like, this is legit what I thought this thought, man. It made me feel like this. Like, what are you thinking when I say that? And it came about struggle and the benefit that it brings to us. Do you know the only way to not let a butterfly fly without like cutting its wings or being all manipulative? Okay. So a butterfly starts as a caterpillar, right? Then it weaves its cocoon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it metamorphs into a butterfly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As its wings have grown, it begins to struggle in the cocoon to break free.
Yeah.
To open itself up to the world.
I do know that. Yeah, go on.
To open itself up to possibility.
Yes. I know.
And as it's breaking, it's developing these veins that ultimately develop its skeletal system. And as they've developed, it's able to break free and fly. It's the struggle that helps a butterfly fly. The moral of the story is the only way to make a butterfly not fly is to cut it from its cocoon.
Yep. Yeah.
This ain't going to be solved for us.
Yeah.
Which led into the nitty gritty of the show is you've got to be the one taking the responsibility. Everything, like, man, wherever we're at, and this is you and I like screaming at each other right now. Like we're not where we want to be, but we need to want to be right where we are at the same time. You feel me?
Nah, I love it. Yeah.
That's dopamine and H&N working together, by the way, though. Here and now neurons kickstarting serotonin, oxytocin, endocannabinoid, endorphin, all these really positive things because we're engaged, but we still have this high aspiration, the more that's in the future, which kicks the dopamine and the reward system and the motivation. Yeah. So that's those two regions working together, and that's super productive.
Love it. I've heard that about the butterfly before, and that is a perfect encapsulation of what we're talking about, which is just being okay in that struggle, as hard as it is, as down as you may get. I think we I think we landed on some like one very powerful tool, which is that the kryptonite to discouragement and comparison, which brings you down, right? That comparing, I'm not where I want to be right now.
Yeah.
That kryptonite to that dark cloud that'll swing over you, or like that dark cloak that'll suffocate you. Yeah, fog. Man, that haze, that fog. The kryptonite to that is gratitude. Gratitude. And I was going to say to your point about what you were experiencing after seeing that family like that, and you're like, why not me? That is, you could do that with any situation in the world right now, because there's plenty of them. And to me, the moral is that could be me. And it automatically reverts me to a place of gratitude that I'm not. That's
powerful. So, and to even contextualize it for some of those, I don't know, I'm feeling like athletes could get a lot of value from the show that we talked about tonight. We ventured into athletics and how playing in a state of gratitude and love is way more powerful. The majority of the world famous athletes that we still talk about today all say that they played for the love of the game. We all know what that means, right?
Yeah.
We all know what that means. But think about it like, man, just be in love with the process of pursuing personal excellence. Like, just fall in love with that, dude. Just fall in love with that. I think that will keep you with a very high ideal, while at the same time keeping you focused and attuned and paying attention to where you are and what's happening in your life right now.
Yeah.
The experience with a capital E. Like, fall in love with just running for excellence, man. Mm-hmm. Whatever that looks like. Whatever that looks like.
Yep.
To me, that seems like a real grateful place to be, man.
Yep.
Because if you're able to run for your excellence, man, then you're always just going to be okay, at least, with where you are.
I love it.
Yeah. I think
that's a great way to.
Yeah, I think tonight was, hey, man, run for personal excellence, y'all. Run for excellence. Like, be nominated for that in your own life.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it was.
Be nominated and screw comparison and all that stuff that got you down earlier.
Yeah.
Like, if people can look at you and say, definitely not a perfect human being, but man, that dude is running for excellence.
Oh, for sure.
That'll really keep you out of the comparison game.
And don't cut your cocoon. Don't cut anybody else's cocoon.
No, man. No.
Don't cut their cocoon.
What a great metaphor for me in counseling too, huh?
Oh yeah.
I can't cut their cocoon, man. They got to get themselves out of this.
Teaching in general.
And I'm just going to be out there like, yo, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
What about parenting?
Oh God, you name it. What about living?
Yeah.
Cool, man. I thought that was an awesome show, dude.
It was. I think the 2 a month.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I felt
sure
way more.
For sure.
Energized, brother.
Hey, I hope if you are out there listening, man, thanks for hanging out with us. Ultimate Pill Podcast, episode 56. 56. I think
Chris has got Mindset Monday coming up.
Running for excellence, baby.
This was a good song choice for where we landed. I feel like we're running right now.
There was a moment in the show where Anthony shared an experience on a treadmill. While on this treadmill, he was able to visualize. He was able to see the place where he wants to one day be, causing him to become a powerful source of human activity. Just this imagination was transferred through. His energy increased. His vitality went through the roof. And wouldn't you know, he made it 1.4 miles.
Sounds right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was the Ultimate Pill Podcast. Subscribe to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. I don't even know how Amazon Music works. That's why I never promote it.
I don't either.
Yeah, but it's there if you use it. And
IG.
Oh yeah, Instagram. Much love, y'all. If you guys are out there, we're doing this for y'all. I promise you. All of this, dude, is for everybody else. And hopefully our life experience can help yours. That's what all of this is about, man. That's us.
There you go.
Tune in next time, where Anthony and Chris travel deeper and deeper into the cave of the unknown. Darkness is all around us.
Always.
Stumbles will occur.
Remember, when the chips are down, these people will eat themselves.
but they have learned to eat their lower self and allow the higher to provide the light
This is a really
in the
long
dark
trailer.
of night and show them the way that will reveal
Now you're freestyling.
dot, dot, dot.
Next time. Coming soon.
What we will reveal. Go enter the cave, man. Go into the darkest part of the freaking forest and find out who you are. Are you gonna throw the mic?
No, I'm gonna hold it like this.
Chug it down.
It's actually kind of a workout. These things are heavy.
If you had to record this whole time.
Yeah, like this.
Yo. All right, man, let's get out of here.
Yeah, all
I
right.
got to record Mindset Monday
Yeah, you
52, I think.
50, 54.
54, okay.
It's always -4.
Oh, yeah. No, 52. 56 minus 4.
I can't do math.
All right,
Don't
y'all.
come to the Ultimate Podcast for math.
Hey, for those of you who are out there, man, we love y'all. We love y'all so much, man. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to hang out with you today. See ya.
See ya. We'll start it over. Send y'all out.
Start it over.
See ya.
Bye, y'all.